The duel between United States and China just got a little bit worse. It has now come to light that 9 United States telecom companies, including companies like AT&T, Verizon, and many other, their records have been hacked, and Chinese hackers, and I'm going to tell you the name of the company that the United States is accusing of getting into all their records and getting down and downloading a lot of the records. What does it mean for you and I, the common consumer of these accounts? If you have an account, what should you do? Is there any danger for any of your online accounts? All these things up in the air. We have to wait and see what the United States government is going to say. We know now that both the presidential candidates, that is Kamala Harris as well as Donald Trump, both their accounts, their things also have been breached. So a lot happening. Stay tuned and please like this video. I have a small slide deck to share all the details of what happened. Here we go. Chinese cyber espionage targets United States communication companies. Chinese state-sponsored hackers, that's what the United States is claiming, has done this. The multiple telecom companies were breached and they stole your call records and compromised many communications. In fact, they have looked into members of staff of Trump campaign as well as the Kamala Harris campaign, and they access, that is the hackers access systems used for court authorized wiretapping. See, this is a very important part of the United States judicial system. Supposing the FBI is monitoring a drug lord and they think that there are 4 or 5 people of persons of interest who might be involved in dealing with this drug lord. So if they want to tap their communication, that is tap their phones, then they need to go and get permission from a judge and give reasonable reason for why they would like to listen in on the conversations between this individual and others. So these are called as court authorized wiretapping requests. Now the hackers know which are the people that were actually being asked to be tapped. So they know what is coming down the pipeline 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the line in the United States court, because now the investigative agencies would have tapped them and then they have to build the case. That means you're looking at next 1 to 2 years. So do the Chinese know everyone that is under the scanner? Will they go and tip off the drug smugglers and others saying that, look, you are under the scanner, so you better go underground? A lot of things are happening, guys. This is a very, very damaging situation. For the latest on this, you can go and read the links that we have provided to you in the reference section. Companies like AT&T and Verizon have been hit. Hackers may have also bypassed safeguards that that are used to monitor calls for the wiretap system. Now, the United States investigators don't really fully know the extent of this problem. They're still trying to get their hands around the problem. Dozens of organizations have been compromised and they have been notified. The name of this Chinese hacking group is called Salt Typhoon, and this has been identified by none other than Microsoft. So Microsoft has its own wing that monitors how cyber breaches are happening, and they have named them as Salt Typhoon. And I'll at the end I will tell you what the Chinese response has been to all these allegations. The hackers are believed to have been inside the US telecom networks for months. The FBI and CISA, this is the Canadian Investigating Services, are providing technical support and are working with victims. And we don't know how many people have been victimized, and that news has not come out yet, because if they are a public company, their stock will tank. That is a big fear here. Congressional staff received classified briefings with concerns raised by officials like Senator Ron Wyden in the United States. The US State Department acknowledged being informed about these attacks weeks prior. Now, on the 27th of December, just a couple of days ago, a 9th US telecom company was confirmed hacked by the Chinese state-sponsored group. They accessed private texts and calls of unknown number of Americans, and the area is around Washington, D.C. and Virginia, which is where most of the lawmakers live and their staff live. So a lot of critical information has been stolen. Well, this is going on for a while. Remember that United States, got into the rocket force of China. That led to a lot of the senior officials in the rocket force division being purged by Xi Jinping. This kind of tit for tat has been going on between US and China, and we'll have to wait for the dust to settle before we see who has the upper hand. This certainly is not something that is trivial. China has hit back at the United States, and we have to wait and see how the US is going to respond. Now, FBI has urged immediate adoption of encrypted messaging to mitigate threats. We have to remember, guys, some of this communications infrastructure, backend, these are all around for 50, 60 probably years. And that means they don't have a lot of encryption. They don't have a lot of protection. Maybe it is easy to penetrate their IP addresses and get the information. So all that stuff has to be addressed now in a very fast way. Unfortunately, most of these telecom companies are losing money on this infrastructure because, let's say AT&T, right? If they have to provide telephones to the whole country of United States, there are areas where the population is very sparse, but they still have to lay down a line. And the number of people that will be using the line is very, very less. Still, they can't charge them extra rates because the amount of wire needed to reach them is less. I'm talking about wired networks. So what I'm trying to say is AT&T, Verizon, all these people, they have installed all these back-end services for many years now, and they probably are losing money. So there's no interest to upgrade the backend. Is this what was exploited by China? We have to wait and see how these things fall out. This is just the first time this information has come out in the open. So I will be covering this in more detail as more details emerge. Now, the FCC also has started looking into this, and they may come out with some cybersecurity measures. Certainly a revamp of the back-end infrastructure of all these companies is due. As to where they are going to go for the money for that, it's anybody's guess. Is the US government going to try and bail them out and say, okay, here is so many $1 billion, go and fix this thing, because this affects the national security of the United States. Very difficult situation, and we have to see how this is going to be addressed by the incoming administration of Donald Trump. Now, what has China's response been? Chinese embassy spokesperson Liu Pengyu denied the hacking allegations. Liu accused the US of spreading disinformation about Chinese hacking threats. He asserted that China consistently opposes and combats all forms of cyber attacks and cyber threat. Now, I can tell you guys, this is a bald lie. I have already written in my book, Who Painted My State Purple, about how many companies, of course, my book is a book of fiction, but if you read some of the news that came in those days, big companies, Amazon, Apple, many other companies, their networks were tapped into. And what would happen is that all these sites that were running on AWS, for example, they would periodically call back China and give them update about all the different sites that AWS, for example, was hosting. I'm not saying this happened to Amazon, but anybody giving cloud services, it could have happened to them. But there are articles that you can refer to, especially a couple of articles, and I think Bloomberg, if I remember correctly, that talked about all this and how all these public companies hid it from their stockholders. So this is a huge problem on its own. But what is going to happen next? The whole infrastructure of United States is at risk now. Will the government clamp down? Are some of these hackers already in the United States? And that is a big fear. What has the Biden administration done? Unfortunately, in this, they are also caught. Some of their secret conversations also were leaked out. So this mindless thing about opening the doors for illegal immigrants has really come to haunt US in a big way. Will 4 years of Trump administration be enough to clean up this mess? I don't know. But we will start finding out more in the next few weeks and months. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.